What is up, Hammerheads? Welcome back to the Forge. Today we're finishing out our grease lamp in part 2. We're going to be making our support arm, our swivel, and our mount. So stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, so let's talk about measurements real quick. Your support arm right here is about 12 inches. Now you can make it a little bit longer if you want a bigger loop, but look at how your center point will be on it so it's not leaning forward, it's not leaning back, so your oil doesn't leak out. And I'll show more of that whenever we're putting this together in the video. Your next swivel piece is about 5 to 6 inches, and it's going to depend on how big you want this eye to be. Then you're going to have your hanging piece, and where your lip hang is right here. If you're going to forge weld, leave this whole piece about 12 inches long. It can be longer. You don't want to be too short, because when this is mounted, because it'll drive into a wall like so, or like so, you don't want your swivel to end up being too close to the wall, or be able to swivel around and be too close to a wall or anything. You want it to be able to have enough distance away from whatever it is if you ever decided to light it. So about 12 inches minimum. I cut mine off because I am going to rivet my piece. I just really like the look of that. So if you're going to do the forge weld, go back and watch the past video on how we forge welded this, because it's the exact same process on this right here. It's just a little bit smaller. Now if you're using a cold forge, be careful that you don't burn up your end, okay? We're using, material wise, everything I'm using is 1/4 inch stock. The square stock I'm using is some scrap square I had. It's like a pin stock. It's a 1/4, but it's like a little bit bigger than 1/4 on the flat. So, but it still works and looks really good. But everything is supposed to be just 1/4 inch. All right guys, first thing I'm doing, since I'm doing the rivet, and I'm working all these pieces roughly at the same time, I'm flattening down where my rivets are going to go. But you can see I'm leaving quite a bit of material here because I don't want to have a weak spot. Because when I drill the holes for the rivets, it can weaken around the edges. So, got that. Now I'm going to go ahead and center punch where I want my holes to be. There's one. There's two. Got that pretty well centered too, just for eyeballing it. Now I'm gonna flip around and draw this out into a point. And I'm gonna draw the material out a little bit too, to make it about that much longer. Now you're going to want to draw this out into a fairly sharp point, guys, because if you are using these, when you go to mount it, you're going to need to push this down into whatever it is you're mounting it into. Now this side right here is just going to be where it stabs into the wall. It's the other half of my mounting system. So this is my straight piece. So I'm just drawing this out into a point, guys. And again, both of these you want a good sharp point on. rounding it out, guys, but I am knocking down the sharp corners. All right, now I'm gonna set this one over to the side to anneal. Set it over here on Jay's anvil. All right, now I'm gonna flip it around. And now I've got to make an eye on this end. Now on another piece, this is fairly simple. Flatten one side down. Make it as fancy as you want. Okay? Gonna do that half dime shape. Then we're gonna flip it around, get this side hot, and flatten this side down. This is the easiest part of the whole thing. Now, this right here, we're back to our mount, guys. Just drawing this down to make our eye. All right, guys. We're going to bend this down and then wrap it and make our eye. First and foremost, going to bend this down at about a 90-degree angle because I want my eye to be about as centered as I possibly can get it. About that much, guys. Alright guys, we're just going to keep working this around the horn of our anvil, but we're going to take a little trip over here to Jay's anvil because it has a finer tip right here. If for some reason, guys, y'all don't have an anvil, okay, use a piece of 3/8 round bar will work really well also. Let's come back over here to the anvil. Guys, move it back to our support arm. Remember, we flattened this side. Now, this side, I'm gonna make a slight point on the end, and then I'm gonna start working this down into a little bit of a point. Be roughly a leaf shape or a diamond shape. I just personally kind of like these on the inside of the grease lamp. It looks good. And you're gonna come back to about maybe going to be an inch, this whole piece, when you're done with it, when you're flattening. Again, leave a little bit of material there so you've got something. Have a little bit of meat there so it won't break. Okay, guys. Back to our mount piece, or our hanging piece. I'm going to flatten it down just a little bit back here where I'm going to put my rivets. Leaving a ton of material. Alright. Now you can see it's a little bent. I'll straighten everything up here just in a minute to try to keep everything as straight as possible. That looks good. Now, grab my center punch, and all I'm going to do is punch one hole. About right there. Or, center punch one hole. About right there. Now this is just 1/4 inch round bar. This is our swivel piece. Just knocking some forge scale off of it. And all I'm gonna do is just start rounding this over to make an eye. I'm showing you a different way to make an eye, guys. Similar to how we make our finial. Okay? But once you get to right here, loop it over the horn of your anvil. I'm going to go back over to Jay so I can show you. I hope nobody gets motion sickness in my videos. But right like that, we're going to tap it down. Okay, guys. Take it. Start tapping it down. It's in line. Do not close it. You need that to be left open. We'll close it when it's cold. You want enough space so you can link two of them, link it together to the mounting piece. Guys, I decided to put a twist in this just because, well, I was going to put a twist in it. Possibly twisted wrench. Not a day in the blacksmith shop unless I drop everything, right, guys? There we go. Straighten that up a little bit, and it'll be ready to go. Hey guys, so I looked at the metal and for the wall mount part, and I decided I'm gonna do a backwards twist in it. It's where you twist one way, stop halfway up your material, cool down what you've twisted, and then twist the rest of it back the opposite direction. It looks really cool. I'm gonna bring the material out and we're gonna do that. I looked at it and thought that would look neat. There we go. Let's brush it off, guys. I'm gonna bring it here close and let you see it. All right, guys, so these are our pieces that we're gonna use to assemble our grease lamp. Let me grab our grease lamp, put it there. Now, this piece, their swivel mount, I'm actually gonna cut off about right here. I just left the material on there, so it gave me a little bit more of a handle. I'm probably gonna do a slight twist in this one. I just didn't want to leave it plain, so I might heat this up and do a twist in it. You don't have to. This is our mount piece that is going to mount here and then bend out and bend down. But guys, I'm going to let all this cool down for a little bit, and then I'm going to start drilling holes, and I will bring you back I won't show like drilling this hole and one of these holes, these two holes, because it's just drilling holes. But I will bring you back for all the mounting stuff, guys. All right, guys, everything is cooled down. So I'm gonna show you roughly how the parts go together. I'm still gonna drill one hole in the pan for the grease lamp, but this is gonna mount here. And I am going to drill one hole when I get it centered, and then I'll rivet everything down, and then I'll come back and drill the second hole, and then we'll rivet it also. We're using really small rivets, guys. Then on the other end, I'm gonna heat up this portion. It goes in here. I'm gonna have it clamped in a vise, and I'll show you guys. I just want to show you a dry fit. And that will be riveted down. And that's your swivel. Now once I rivet this down here, these go together, and I just close that up. And then we'll heat this section up and bend it out for our hanger. But guys, that is roughly just the dry fit of what we're gonna be doing with our grease lamp. All right, guys, if you decided to forge weld, that is fine. It rivets that fast. Now I'm gonna drill the second hole right there. But if you decided to forge weld, you would not cut this section off. You would just bend it back and forge weld it. Like I said, I just really liked the way the rivet looked on the demo piece that we did in the last video. But if you don't know how to forge weld, go back, and there is another video showing you how to do a fold over style forge weld. So I'm going to drill this hole real quick, guys, and then we'll come rivet the other one down. Alright guys, that's riveted down, so now I'm going to throw it in the fire. Well, that's heating up. I'm also going to heat up this portion of our swivel mount. And I'm going to go over and drill a hole in our grease lamp roughly in the center for our mount for it also. Trying to get that just a little flatter. You can make some adjustments once you've got everything riveted down. Just thought of this, guys. While I'm drilling this hole, I'm using my Hardy hole to hold everything in place. All right, there's the first hole for that, and we're gonna go ahead and rivet down that other piece. Or rivet down the mount piece. Alright guys, looks like that right there. Now I'll make sure everything is lined up and looks good. And I'm going to drill the other hole. There guys, go back over here, see if y'all can see. Yeah, y'all can. Shows good. I'm just gonna rivet that one down. Now I'll do a little bit of straightening once I get everything put together, but that right there is your pan put together, guys. Now we'll heat this whole bar up and bend it over once we get this side riveted down. Sorry guys, forgot to start the camera, but all I'm doing is riveting this down. Work all sides when you're making a rivet. So it'll stay, but don't just hammer one spot, work it all the way around as you're hammering. And make sure this, see, I'll raise the camera up so you can see it better. It'll look like that when you're done, because this needs to be on top. If for some reason you rivet it wrong, it's all right. We'll just heat this section up and put another twist in it. Then all you did was move things around or take a twist out, and then you move things back around the way they need to be. Bring you back over here, guys. Guys, we're going to be quenching right down to here, right past our rivets, so we don't crack them at the rivets. So we're going to be thin. Grab my scarling tongs, and this might take more than one heat. Bend that back down. Here. The whole thing decided to bend up on me. Don't get me wrong, that looks kind of cool. Not what I was going for. Sorry about that, guys. Just got that bent out to an L shape. Now I'm going to heat up this section here. Quench all of this, leave this portion out, and then I'm going to bend that tip down. Now on this portion that we've got heated, as you can see, we're just going to bend this over and find the center of balance for it. Looks to be about right there. Like that right there, guys. Bend it a hair more in. That right there. See with it hanging? Yep, see how it hangs back just a hair? We will fix that. Pull this off. So we bend only the area we want to bend. Just getting that bent in that shape is what you're looking for. Whether you're forge welding or just doing it this way, that's the shape you're looking for right there. Let me pull this the rest of the way down. We'll finish tweaking the other one. Like that right there, guys. I kind of like that big swoop out also. I think that looks real good. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's gonna hang nice too, guys. Gonna have to probably tweak right back here, just bend it up a little bit from when I was riveting, just to pull everything back up into place. But since we got everything here, let's go ahead and hook this on. And I am just going to close up this end right here, guys. I'm just going to bring it over drop you down right here so you can see. Bring it over the anvil, like so. And then just close that up. All right, guys. Not about to lose my voice. All right, guys, let's get real for a minute and talk about what we learned today. So we made our grease lamp. Now, a point to think on. When you're holding your grease lamp, if it's not setting pretty much level like this, no matter which way you're holding it, okay? If it is going this way, close it up a little bit, this section. And you can do a lot of times, if you use a mild steel as much, the little bit you'll be tweaking it, you can do cold. If it is leaning more this way, open it up a little bit and play around with that, because right in here is where you're going to have to make your adjustments. When you go to set your rivets, guys, when you're hammering down on your anvil or wherever it's at, you're gonna bend this metal flat just a little bit. What I normally do is go back and retweak everything once I've got it riveted up and once it's done, because sometimes it does not affect your grease lamp at all. Another thing, when you're doing your rivet here, sometimes you'll create a lip. Let me grab my pointer. In this area here, and it'll make it to where it'll catch. You can take a file and clean that up. Sometimes it'll bend like this one did, and I didn't catch that it bent. Just, you can either straighten that cold or you can heat it back up. They will also be super tight sometimes where you rivet it, and just work it around. If you need to heat it back up, you can, and then just keep working it. Quench it in a little bit of oil, and it'll help get that where it's not as sticky. Again, if you're going to be doing the fold over forge weld, you won't cut this section off. You'll just fold over and do your forge weld. I did the rivet just because I wanted to do something different. I've only ever done the fold over forge weld style. Now, I'm not going to light this one with oil in it, because I'm going to actually turn this one into a lamp, a electric lamp. I'm going to fill the well with resin. Now, if you're going to be doing something similar, or using this for like a candle holder or something like that, make sure you get your well deep enough. If you're running oil in it, you're going to want it a little deeper. But with the resin, I don't want it super deep because resin's somewhat expensive. I'm just wanting to make a small pull in there and give the illusion that the oil's in there. So I'm going to leave this one more shallow. And that was one of the reasons why I left it as shallow like I did. But I will fire up the other one just to show you guys it burning it one more time. But this one would hold oil, and I would burn it like I would any of the other ones. But guys, fun video. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I'm going to light this up real quick. Hang that back there. And grab the handy dandy torch. There we go. Take a second for that to flame up a little bit. Probably need to trim that wick up a little. It's been sitting for a few days. There we go. Well, see guys, that's how it burns. I really enjoy making these. They're a lot of fun. And they do pretty well at different craft fairs or if you have them online. And honestly guys, I'll tell you, normally when I price these, depending on how fancy I go, I generally price them somewhere between 50 to 100 bucks. If I go very fancy. Now, when I turn it into a lamp, that's a completely different thing. But just having them grease lamps like this, somewhere between 50 and 100 bucks. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you on the next one. God bless. Keep hammering.